News Up Front at 4.
A new museum in Nebraska City is unlocking the past of Nebraska's history. In the 70s, the owner closed shop with a note that said they'd return, but never did. Today, Lindsay Thies is getting a behind-the-scenes look.
Jen, today we're really taking a step back in history here at the Kregel Windmill Museum. So a little bit of background. In the late 1800s, this windmill factory was up and operating and was doing so until about the late 1900s. 1980s, this place closed and sat vacant and untouched for a couple of decades. Late 2000, they opened it up, and now basically what you see is what you get. It is literally a step back in time. Before our modern conveniences, this was the main way for Midwest farms to get water. And in a small Nebraska City factory, the Kregel family started a business that over a century would produce thousands of steel and wooden windmills.
All of this equipment still runs.
Dad George and son Art Kregel had the reputation of being very thrifty.
The rest of the chimney is using the same material they used to make windmills. So this is actual windmill legging that's holding up the chimneys.
And that thriftiness has ties to Omaha.
Those would have been put in about 1925 to 1930. Some of it actually may have come from Omaha. It was probably purchased at 1110 Douglas Street, where there was a second-hand machine, industrial machine sales place.
Still today, all through the old factory, old oil cans, repurposed windmill parts.
And so what they did was they took their old windmill and just converted it into a tool to bend those brackets.
Even secret stashes and medicines that the employees and owners saved can be found. Here's why. In the late 70s, Art Kregel suffered a stroke and left the factory closed, saying he'd be back. He didn't return, but that's left this place stuck in time. Ben Cruz runs the museum, sharing stories of this industrial time capsule.
And a bit of a mystery was how the dial got knocked off. The dial was missing and a hinge was damaged. In the desk are actually the notes that Art wrote to his sister, explaining who he thought had broke in and tried to get into the safe.
A time capsule that will stay looking like the past, but teach generations in the future. Now, some of the parts that we showed you today were those behind-the-scene elements, exclusive elements that they don't even show regular visitors here to the museum. But in terms of the video screens and more information about all of the equipment, Ben, who runs the museum here, is full of stories. We definitely recommend it. For now, in Nebraska City, I'm Lindsay Thies for Upfront at 4.
The windmills made at the Kregel factory were called Eli windmills. The name came from George's friend and preacher named Eli. So there you have it, a lot of history right there.